All right, looks like we are live here. Hey there, everyone, and welcome back to the Xbox Roundtable podcast. This is show number 275, the place for Xbox talk, and so much more every Sunday night. Hey, you know the drill, right? I'm your host for the evening, Invader, and as always, it is awesome having you all here, from everybody in the chat to just all the listeners in general. For this one, we'll be focusing our attention on the Xbox Game Showcase that happened earlier today. I thought that we would cover originally the Summer Game Fest as well, but honestly, there was just so much jam packed into the Xbox Showcase, and even a little bit after that, we're just going to have to focus on that for now. So it made an obvious sense to cut back the other stuff. But yeah, guys, there's so much to cover from it, from gameplay, reveals, announcements, hardware, and more, like just some other stuff. So let me introduce everybody on the panel first so that we can get things going quickly. All right, I'll start off with Eric Shockley, buddy. Hey, great to see you here. I guess the lights are on now, huh?
Oh yeah, I got lucky with that one. Power was going off and on. I think probably 30 different times just within 2 hours. It was kind of nuts. So I was like, hopefully this doesn't blow a fuse or because that was just kind of crazy. But yeah, luckily 2 hours before the show started, it decided to stay on and didn't go out after that because my streaming on my phone signal is not great where I live, so I need that Wi-Fi. So, but yeah, ready to get into the topics.
Naturally, yeah. Great to have you here, pal, as always. Happy to hear the electricity's running. Next up, we got the General in the house, Mr. GeneralMLD. Buddy, great to have you here. I think you're pretty pumped for today. I think you're pretty pumped.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have some fun tonight. I think the showcase just went. I mean, what am I doing? I'm getting ahead of myself. It's just good vibes all around. You can tell online. Xbox put on a great show, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it. To discussing that.
Yeah, here, pal. Here. I am as well, as I'm sure everyone else is on the panel and in the chat too. Up next, Crusader. Take your time, pal. I know that you were making the podcast rounds earlier. Please bear with Mr. Crusader here, guys. But how's it going?
Oh, it's going pretty good. Trying to get some liquid energy into myself right now. I was podcasting from noon until about 4:10, 4:15 with Mooch and Crap Gamer and a few other lovely people over on Mooch's channel. That was a lot of fun. You might catch some clips of me drinking when some exciting things happened and like screaming when some exciting things happened. So we'll talk more about that. Yeah, it was a good day. It was a real good day.
All right. Who let Crusader into the Virgin Daiquiri box? Come on, guys.
Listen, it was Fireball. It was a lot of Fireball.
A lot of Fireball. Got that. Oh, and I heard something crack already. Damn, party's
That's
going
a Coke.
on. Oh,
that is a Coke for caffeine. That is C for caffeine.
Okay, sounds good, pal. Moving on down here, Centurion, another man who was making the podcast rounds. I mean, as per usual, right before this one. How you doing, man? I know you got a lot to talk about here.
I'm doing great, man. It's been a good week. Playing games as always, Jedi Survivor. Enjoying the showcases from everybody. Don't care what brand it is. I just love this time of the year when everything's being delivered content wise from all the brands. As mentioned last week, I mean, this is also a great time of year to pick up games if you're looking for stuff on sale, because I mean, like everybody is like having some kind of a game sale no matter where you go. And yeah, of course, we've got the Xbox showcase that took place today. I've been doing some content on it, and I look forward to tonight's chat about it.
Absolutely, buddy. Absolutely. I'm really looking forward to it. Obviously, I was working during the day, so I didn't catch it live. But man, what I saw afterwards, I was just blown away. Blown away. I think I caught everything. It just, oof, so much to cover. So much to cover there.
I actually enjoy like This is the one show a year I'm actually able to watch at home because it happens on a Sunday. I very rarely am able to ever watch a show live.
Yeah. Yeah, no, good point. I mean, sometimes I'm able to catch some at like, if they're like, you know, like some in the evening again, like I'm Eastern time, right? So if it's like 4 o'clock something, some of them are a little later, like some indie showcases, like some I can catch them then.
In
But
my part of the world, man, this thing came on at 10 o'clock in the morning.
ooh, yeah, damn, pretty early, not gonna lie there. But hey, we will touch on the show very, very shortly, guys. Don't you worry. As I see more people filing into the chat. Guys, great to see you. Before we start, though, just to remind everyone that we are doing a live giveaway tonight for an Xbox Series S console. Yes, the one we were talking about for the past little while now. Now, how are you guys able to participate? I know that's what you're all asking, and I'm glad you asked. Now, keep your eyes peeled in the chat for the TXR Podcast account. That would be yours truly here. And there will be questions asked about a variety of things during the Xbox showcase, and maybe even from the panel's chat, what we were talking about. And the first person to get, let's say, 3 correct answers will be the winner. And if there's no winner tonight, well, hey, we'll see. We'll hold it sometime soon, right? But hey, I hope somebody wins tonight. I really want to give it away. And yeah, it's going to be a fun one tonight, guys. Let's sell it. I'm in a very celebratory mood. I'm very cheery here. It was a good weekend, good show. Let's have some fun. Also, guys, please do us a solid and share out this show. Give it a like, as it helps us with those pesky algorithms. You know how it goes. And sub to the channel if you're a new face around these parts. But yes, guys, please, share it out on Twitter. We want everybody to know that we are live right now, and it would just help us out immensely. All right. Yeah, guys, I'm not gonna waste any more time. Let's get straight into things, as I know everybody here just wants to get their two cents in regarding the Xbox game showcase. There were certainly many games showing off, as of course you would hope for an event like this, right? And some of the games that we expected to be there, like Forza Motorsport, Fable, and the like, they were there, but we also got a peek at a bunch of, unexpected surprises. Now, GeneralMLD, why don't you lead us off here? I know you've got a lot to say. What did you think of the event? Just tell us, hey, please share your thoughts with us, bud. Lead us off here.
Oh, great. Oh, happy to hear. So, like a lot of us, we didn't temper expectations, and it paid off. Like there's always a risk of it, biting us back, but Xbox, they did a really, really solid showing. Now, they first opened with Fable. Now, that the art style, I'm liking the art style. And, I think it's in-game footage. So far, I'm liking that. That said, we still need to know a little more about how it plays. And I'm curious how they're going to handle the whole, little guy versus the giants aspect. But, I mean, okay, great. It's coming along. Playground, they haven't done us wrong so far. So it's just a matter of time. So I'm looking forward to seeing more of that whenever it's ready. So then they finally showed Compulsion's game, South of Midnight. It's supposed to be their third-person adventure game. I like the artsy look. Okay, not bad. And I'm looking forward to these guys as well, because they've always been a creative oddball. And now that they got Xbox budget backing them, I think we might have a good game on our hands there too. Then, of course, Forza Motorsport looks great. They're doing the deep dive, so I'll look into that, because I'm a Horizon guy. I never could quite get into the Motorsport series, but with them saying things like it's a whole physics overhaul and things like that, I don't know, the cars look gorgeous. It might just draw me in. I think it might. Comes on October, good time. That's good too. Hellblade 2, that game looked gorgeous. Absolutely stunning game. I think some people online, including myself, I think we could have, I think some of us wanted to see actual combat, but I'm nitpicking with that one. Ninja Theory, these guys they're not like a team of hundreds of people, but these guys are meticulous. These guys are going to make it work. So it's 2024, so they lock that in. And we've seen the gameplay before as well, so I don't think it's going to slip beyond 2024. So whenever the combat's ready to show us, I'm sure it's going to be great. But at least they really nailed that tone, like that atmosphere that made Hellblade 1 so engaging for me. So far, so good. Then you got Avowed. Like, they really showed all the games that we wanted to see. Like the Xbox is going to be a RPG, Western RPG powerhouse. So Avowed is basically Obsidian Skyrim, exactly what we thought it would be. Amazing. Exclusive to Xbox, day one Game Pass. You can't miss with this thing. It's more colorful, but that's not, I don't think that's a bad thing compared to the original trailer. But that said, the trailer took place in like an underground cavern, so who's to say that also won't, that might also happen as well. So, but otherwise, I'm liking what I'm seeing here. Some people pointed out maybe the graphic fidelity was a little low, but I don't see that as an issue. They got plenty of time to like work on it. For all we know, it's an older build, but as long as they nail that core gameplay loop, like Skyrim-esque, Elder Scrolls-esque kind of open world fantasy RPG, like I'm liking what I'm seeing. Obsidian, these guys are wizards, and I have complete faith that these guys will deliver a quality product with Avowed. So 2024 is already looking pretty stacked with Avowed and Hellblade. It's I guess it depends on where they're going to be placed in the year. Now, I think for many people, Clockwork Revolution was the big surprise. We all knew this game was years away, and yet In Exile had something to show. Like I was blown away by it. I'm loving the atmosphere. The steampunk rumors were correct. And because it's In Exile, and I loved Wasteland 3. I played that game and I loved every bit of it. This game's going to have choice and consequence. The world will shape based on what you do and how you play. So, but it's a 3D world. So, like, I am in, like, just banger after banger after banger with these guys here. And of course, you had like the regulars. You got the Sea of Thieves, Flight Sim, Fallout 76, Elder Scrolls Online. To me, like, people knock that. I think that's to be expected. I mean, if these Xbox nailed games as a service, these games are being supported years later. That's a good thing. People are still playing these games like long after their initial launch date, with fresh content being added like almost yearly, right? Or yearly. So good on them for mentioning that and keeping that train going. These games deserve their audience and deserve to grow. Now, so those are the big first party ones. Third party, I'm not going to say everyone, but I'm going to say my favorites of the show. So I played Yakuza Like a Dragon last year on Game Pass. Ichiban, the main character, he became like just a pure favorite of mine. And look at this. We get a trailer with the same guy, and he's going to headline the next game. So if it's turn-based, perfect. If it's not, I might just get this game anyway. I like the character that much. So, like, I play that game, that series now for the first time, and now I want more. But then I can't help but comment on, I mean, it was leaked before, but Xbox and Sega, like, I'm loving their partnership. Whatever Xbox is doing, keep doing it, because I played Persona 5 earlier this year, my first Persona game ever played, and I fell in love with that series. Like, I can't believe just how deep of an RPG Atlas can make here. And here we go. Persona 3 remake. I'm in. Done. I'm glad I held off on the regular Persona 3, because now I can just play like the best version of it, the remake. But then also Persona 5 Tactics. Yes. Like, I'm a big fan of if any Nintendo DS people are listening here, I was a big Advance Wars fan. And this looks that kind of turn-based kind of combat. And it's come out this fall on Game Pass. Done. Like, again, that game is gonna probably be so long, and I'll be playing Starfield too, but I gotta somehow find time for this game, because this is a spin-off I want to play. So, but in general though, I got hats off to Xbox for many of these multiplats. Like, not all of them, but many are day one gets. Like, I think Capcom had a game day one Game Pass fantastic. Like, these are excellent gets that Microsoft's doing here. They don't have to be exclusive. They just have to provide that value proposition, that perk that makes Xbox gamers feel catered to. And these aren't small games. Many of these games were like AA, like at least. So it really makes me feel catered to as a Game Pass user. But of course, now I think my personal game of the show is Starfield. And it's a little bit unfair because Starfield had by far the most time dedicated to it. And I'm blown away. This game is everything I want that kind of game to be. I've always wanted a game where you can have your own ship, customize it the way you want to, get your own custom crew, and just explore like known space and just see what's out there. And the idea of just making settlements and populating the settlements with people that, again, you handpick, crew members, companions. Let's see, like the guns and the modding, and just how like you can see a planet in the distance and you could actually go to that planet. It's not just background art. Like, the game's scale and ambition is just on another level. And of course, the factions, the story, your choices that are going to shape it. Like, it's a little bit overwhelming. Like, the character creation, like everything they explain is just so meticulous in their design. Like, I couldn't be more excited for this kind of game. So now we did hear that it's 30 frames, but you know what? Todd Howard, I think he said why. You know what? I can live with it. He said that he's prioritizing quality and a stable performance over like being forced to do a kind of checkbox for 60 frames. Now, would it be nice? Sure. But given this game's scale, like what this game's really trying to do, I would much rather them work out as a very stable and quality build with minimal bugs, as little like frame rate, massive drops as possible. If they can get a stable 30 frames and guarantee that, that's fine. Like, that's fine. Like, they do what they got to do, get this game out, make it quality. So, and I think they're going to do that. Like, they showed almost too much. Like, I was just smiling the whole time I was seeing Starfield on the screen. So I don't want to take up, I'll let the other guys talk too here, but overall, Xbox delivered. Like, they kept it to games. They kept the executive talking to a minimum. And I think Starfield is going to be this once-in-a-generation kind of game that will be played for a decade plus with its mod scene. They have a clear timeline for the rest of 2023. They got, like one AAA game for the rest of the year. And we'll see how 2024 stacks up. But I think they have a clear timeline and a clear roadmap going forward, especially with Activision Blizzard once that happens. Regardless, I can't wait to play all of it. And I think this is going to usher in like a new golden age of Xbox. Like, think of like the golden years of the 360. I think we're about to get that and then some. Like, once Starfield drops, the ball's going to be rolling and it's not going to stop from there. So they really redeemed themselves, given any bad news the last couple of months. They really showed up this time.
Yeah. And I have to admit, MLD, I'm with you on that. Starfield is looking quite impressive. Now, would you say, like, what would you say, like, of all the games shown? I know you were heavily talking about Starfield. Like, what is your, like, game of the show? Would it be Starfield overall?
Well, to me, Starfield is the obvious choice because they did the deep dive. But if I were to just hypothetically take that out of the equation, because we knew Starfield was getting the deep dive, if I was going to focus on the games that we saw, that were the other games we saw that were already announced, I'm looking out for Avowed, actually, because I mean, I really enjoyed Fallout New Vegas. It's arguably Obsidian's best game. Like, I played their South Park game, the South Park game they made too. Like, people know them from Knights of the Old Republic. This is a very consistent studio once they get into their rhythm, and I feel like Avowed is going to be like the next Skyrim kind of thing, but with their own twist and their own touch with it. So again, like they said, 2024. I feel like whatever build we saw, it's going to look even more polished and look better graphically when the final product is out. But I feel like from what we saw, they really nailed that core gameplay loop of like the open world choice-based WRPG. So I think that would be Avowed next to Starfield for me.
All right. All right. Very interesting. Very interesting. Very good take. I loved what you covered. Definitely, I was really happy to finally see Compulsion's game finally get announced. What was it, South of Midnight? I just wish that it was just more than like, I guess it was an in-game trailer, but it didn't really show off much, and I just kind of expected a little more considering how long it's been in development. But I'm happy to see it either way, guys. I'm happy to see it. I'm not trying to be negative there. But I do have some caveats. Like overall, I did enjoy the showcase very much so. But again, I do have some caveats of my own. Let's see here, going on the list. Very active chat, by the way. Happy to see you all here. Some new faces, of course. Hey, all are welcome, guys. All are welcome. And remember, share out this show. Eric Shockley, brother, I mean, I would love to hear your thoughts on the showcase. I'm trying to get to everybody here. What do you think? What do you think of the show overall? Do you agree with what MLD's saying? Like, what are your thoughts on it? And Shockley is silent. Don't get shy on us now, Shockley. Don't
Can you
get
hear me?
shy. Now I can. Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
stupid iPhone took off my mic.
It's all good.
No, I thought it was.
Oh, you went silent
Remember-
again. Oh,
It's sorry. My bad. I got it. Can you
All
hear
right.
me now?
Yeah, we can do it now.
Oh, okay. I think it's with StreamYard. Whenever you go off of the thing to a different page, it turns off my mic. So I'll just stay on it. But I think it was a pretty solid show overall. Definitely one of the best ones they've had in a while. Mainly, so this one they were showing, like before when we saw Avowed, when we saw Fable, those are pretty much like CGI trailers, like the earlier ones that we first saw. So it was nice that, hey, we're actually seeing the level of quality that they're going for as far as the end game, because most of those were end game, at least Fable and Avowed. Because kind of like when I mentioned last week with State of Decay 3, we saw the teaser for what they were, supposedly going for. We don't know if that's going to bear out, what they actually land with. Kind of like when you see a high-end Diablo trailer or a cutscene, it's not near the same what they're going for with the actual gameplay. So we'll see if it's that level of fidelity that they actually land on for that game. But that's where this one was pretty nice to see that we saw at least in game. I think the only one that I saw that was in engine was, I think, Compulsion. That one actually wasn't in game; it was in engine. Whereas in game's kind of that lockdown of, hey, here are the specs, here's the world we're using, the console, like they said, the in-game Hellblade 2 was running on Series X. They made sure to make that a point. So it was definitely a solid show in that realm. Hopefully we'll see maybe a little bit more gameplay, or maybe they'll explain more gameplay, tomorrow, just from other cutscene or other shows that we've seen with either Hellblade or some of these other ones. I think Avowed was on that list. So hopefully we'll get more info in that regard. But probably my game of the show that I didn't see coming I don't even think I was thinking of this developer, which was Inexile. I think I was listening to Crab Gamer made a point on the podcast Crusaders on earlier that, I've never really played any of Inexile's games. I think I jumped into Wasteland 3 for like 15 minutes when it first came to Game Pass. So it was definitely a developer that's not like one that I'm, looking forward to or really have ever played anything from them. So I did not expect them to be, if anything, I expected this to come from like a Compulsion, since they did We Happy Few last, which was kind of that Bioshocky feel. I didn't know I thought we'd get a BioShock type game from Xbox first party. I didn't know it was coming from In Exile, but yeah, it definitely had that BioShock Infinite type feel with a whole steampunk mechanic with a time mechanic, which makes it really cool. So it's not just like at least hopefully it's not just like, one for one, like, hey, this is, too much like BioShock. So hopefully it has its own spin and feel to make it, memorable and, mostly original. So that one was pretty dope. I would say probably from their third party partners that we saw, it would be a toss up between the new Capcom game. I think that one escapes me now. It was a weird name. Was it something Princess? I don't know if someone helped me with that name, but Princess something, I think, or I'm totally butchering it. But whatever that Capcom game was, I was trying to look for the title, and the title was
Path of the Goddess. I don't know what the actual
Path of the Goddess
opening is, but yeah, Path of the Goddess is the game you're thinking of.
But at first I thought that was like, are they making Onimusha? They bringing that back? But no, it looks pretty cool, and it's going to Game Pass day one. The one that sucks that's not going to Game Pass day one, but I'll just buy it day one no matter what. Is that Metaphor game from Atlas? That one looks dope. Atlas is first IP in quite a while, and hey, it's actually hitting at least not Game Pass, but it's at least hitting Xbox consoles day one with other ones like PlayStation. So at least they're starting to get. Maybe we've lost Final Fantasy for a bit with their deal with PlayStation, but at least if we can get the major Japanese studios consistently, like Atlas or Bandai Namco, Capcom, if we can just get those consistent like AAA or close to AAA games that they release consistently, that's a big win in and of itself. So those were probably my two of the third party that were my game of the show. I didn't see enough from the Star Wars game that they showed off to really get a feel on that one.
See it tomorrow.
So yeah, we'll see it
Gameplay tomorrow.
So, yep. But yeah, outside of that, the Starfield looks phenomenal. Just that's the other thing when the whole 30F, which we kind of knew what was coming. Like you could kind of watch the trailer and see this isn't running at 60 FPS. But for anyone that actually watched the hour deep dive, you understand the scope of this game, the depth of this game, and to people that are like, oh my God, making it like, I get it. You might be disappointed that, hey, it would have been awesome if they gave you a way to play it at 1080p, 720p, whatever they had to drop it down to, like degraded enough to make it a stable 60 where it's not like just chugging. I get it. But hey, you even look at other games like, Elden Ring, game of the year. It also wasn't 60 on these, whatever console, most powerful console, whichever one you want to pick. On neither one of them, even if you say PS5 is like the one that's, it's better optimized, it's a better machine. Cool. It didn't run at 60 FPS consistently either. So that's where it's on the developer to make a decision. Hey, do I want this to be compromised where it's just like you're getting these performance drops where it's going to make it noticeably kind of like when I was just watching someone play Zelda, which is great. I play a bunch of Nintendo games that are either 30, some are 60, but when you use that certain power on it, it literally chugs to where it's noticeable, where it's like, ooh, I think I was watching the Digital Foundry video on the Tears of the Kingdom, and they're like, hey, it gives you that kind of retro feel, of like playing those old style games, when you start to use a certain power and hey, stuff starts to go slow-mo in a sense. Some developers aren't willing to make that decision to like compromise their game like that. And hey, we're just going to stick it at 30. It could probably run it higher, but it's not consistent enough where we feel comfortable, where it's, it's going to mess up their art. They make that decision. So, and if you look at that type of game, if you've played like I get it, the whole Skyrim in space thing, but it kind of has still that Fallout, Skyrim, Elder Scrolls type pacing, just like the movement. Obviously, some of the cool things we saw was the lower gravity where you could, fly off really quick or be in air and stuff like that. So I could see that you might want it at 60, but still you're not moving to the speed of like, hey, Final Fantasy VII Remake. When I was playing the shit out of that when it was at 30 FPS, and that was a ton of fast-paced action, switching between different characters, shit going on all around you, and you having to move the camera and spin it around to get, to see where when you switched your characters in between. That's going to be more of a hindrance playing at 30 than a game like this, where it's just going to be a lot more slower paced. For much of the game, you're not going to it's not going to be that much of a big deal. Especially, I don't know if there's like Fallout type, we'll maybe see more of the combat. I don't think we've seen any of that where it's kind of like where you can do that whole VAT system, but it still looked, I wasn't like, oh man, it's like really chugging right here. I was watching them go inside the ships, blasting away at people, and that looked great. I wasn't like, oh man, this looks terrible. It's chugging, it's dropping down to 20 FPS, like anything like that. So at the end of the day, it sucks, but it's not unplayable. If it's unplayable for you, then you pretty much have to swear off. I get it. People want to say it's false equivalency. I'm just saying the experience, you have to swear off pretty much most Nintendo games. You must have sworn off most of the Sony first-party games last gen, even on playing on your PS4 Pro. They were 30 FPS. So I'm like, the experience itself, is going to be, just think of the scope and the detail and what they went into in depth with that whole hour deep dive. Like for anyone to actually, watch that, like you can kind of understand. That's the thing. Does it make sense? Can I give you a pass? Like when you played Last of Us Part 2 at 30 FPS, yeah, the combat, the in-depth movement, how I can just switch to this weapon and decapitate somebody's arm off, or whatever, that combat was so fluid and cool. So you gave it a pass. Like, okay, well, and visually it looks great. So maybe it makes sense that that's at 30 when Gears 5 is running at 60. Even though Gears 5 looks stunning on the Xbox One X, but it's a little bit more powerful console. So I think it's just that I get it when people get mad at people making a false equivalency, but also on the flip side, the reason why people are also making those false equivalencies is because the same token, people are saying it's completely unplayable, it's a deal breaker. They can't play Starfield now. I'm like, okay, you're being as hyperbolic. So, but just screenshot, I guess those, I'll definitely be looking for the people that say that type of stuff, and then they're like on their playing Starfield day one. So, but otherwise, that game looks phenomenal. And if they hit everything quality-wise out of the park when that thing releases, this definitely has the potential to be, game of the year, with it being a new IP and something of this scope and fresh from Bethesda. And it should be a big tentpole game, and hopefully that's what it is for Xbox, to make up for what we had before with Redfall. So, but we'll see, and I'll let some other people get in. But yeah, those are my thoughts on probably my pinpoint favorites between the third party and first party that we saw.
All right. So overall, like, what would you say? Like, again, like I asked GeneralMLD, what was like that one game that just like really stood out to you?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely just a toss up, mainly between those. I would say those two, between the Starfield, just because we got so much info about it that we don't know about Clockwork. Because Clockwork Revolution was I would say my game of the show, just because I didn't see that coming out of anywhere. And I didn't think we'd ever get that type of game, and I love the other BioShock games.
Right.
But yeah, it's tough one between those two. I would say Clockwork Revolution just for now, because that was a surprise. I didn't see that coming, and I knew Starfield was coming, and I knew that probably would have the depth of that I expect from Bethesda game, from a Todd Howard project. So I would say that one definitely for sure. And then hopefully we'll see more about that soon, with how the whole time, how you change the future, change the past. What are you actually doing with that? So hopefully we'll see more in depth soon, sooner than next E3, hopefully.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there, pal. Honestly, I thought that there was a lot to like from this showcase. I mean, I'll usually pick apart, I can always find some good in something, even some of the showcases that some other people don't like, whether it be PlayStation, Xbox, so on, anything really. This one again, there was some nice surprises there for me, uh Payday 3. That was nice seeing the gameplay for that, and that it's coming out in September and it's going to be on Game Pass. Really excited for that. Nice co-op game there. What else? What else? Avowed. Like I figured Avowed would be there, but I didn't think that we would see so much of it, and I was just happy. Like I was just really happy to see it. I really liked the art style to it, the gameplay. It makes me excited. It definitely really raises my hopes up. I was shocked actually to see Flight Simulator 2024 get announced, because I just thought they were just going to continue on with, again, the Flight Simulator that came out a couple of years ago. I didn't think there was anything wrong with it, but again, that was interesting that they did that with a new Flight Simulator being announced.
Wait, that I thought that was an expansion. That's a new game.
That's a brand new Flight Simulator. Flight Simulator 2024.
Oh boy. Okay.
Yeah.
There was a bit of confusion. Like there was DLC, Dune DLC announced for Flight Simulator, but then there was a brand new Flight Simulator announced.
Yeah, it was Flight Simulator 2020 is the one we have right now.
Yeah.
This is they announced Flight Simulator 2024 today. It is unknown what kind of how it necessarily evolves from this one.
I've heard rumors from some on Gaming Beyond the Box they're going to put like missions into it or something. Like you got to actually like fly from point A to point B, and you got to use certain aircraft and stuff like that. There's going to be like objectives to it.
That's what they were kind of alluding to in the thing, that you can be like a rescue pilot and stuff like that. I'm just curious to see if they are using 2020 as a base. You know what I mean? For the details they've already put into airports and stuff like that, or if it is just going to be a totally different style, and they're going to run the two simultaneously.
Yeah, and so that was, again, I wasn't expecting that, but it's a thing. And yeah, they're gonna have different jobs that you can do too. Obviously, all of them aviation based in one thing or another. You can rescue rescue people in the wilderness, racing, again, a whole bunch of different stuff, cargo transport, so on, to varying degrees, whether on oil rigs or large transport aircraft, just again, all that kind of stuff. Again, I wasn't expecting to see that, of all things, so that was interesting that they did that. Hellblade 2, from my perspective, I really loved the tech there, and I loved seeing the scene that they showed off, and they even had the actress there, Melina Juergens, I think her name is. It was cool to see it. They dedicated a few minutes to it. I wish we could have seen some kind of a combat there, because we keep seeing these emotional scenes from Hellblade 2, and I love to see it, and the technology, and looks impressive, but I would have liked to have seen something a little more. And this game apparently is coming out in 2024. It's around the corner, so I would like to see little, something to deal with combat or quest based, just something like that, right? Some kind of enemy interaction, right? But otherwise, I mean, again, there's lots of other good stuff. Persona 3 Reloaded. There was quite a few Japanese games announced. And of course, a game that I was looking forward to, Compulsion's new game, Compulsion Studios. We hadn't heard from them in a while. They finally announced South of Midnight, the Southern American, was it kind of gothic-y, Southern Gothic third-person game. I loved the announcement. It's great to see it there. I wish we could have seen some kind of gameplay, considering how long it's been in development. Again, not trying to be negative. It's just one of those caveats that I would have liked to have seen something there. But my personal star of the show, I'm with Shockley, is Clockwork Revolution. I wasn't expecting In Exile to be there this year, and just to see the rumors true that they were making this steampunk Victorian first-person shooter. I'm blown away. I love it. It seems to be pretty far in development. They actually had some gameplay there. They didn't want to give a release date. They said in due time, but I am pumped for it. I I wasn't sure what to expect from NXL with this with the funding from Microsoft, but they got me excited, and I totally agree with everybody. It's definitely BioShock Infinite-esque. I'm excited. I'm excited for that game. But yeah, super stoked. I'll get some more panel members' thoughts on this. Like Crusader, I mean, you had chimed in a little bit earlier, but please, like,
Yeah.
into like full thoughts on the showcase, because I know that you were, you were heavily into, like, again, the rumors and leaks about this, so you
There was
knew some stuff,
not a
but
ton leaked.
yes, that's correct, which is
There was
great.
not a ton leaked. They're like Atlas screwed up and showed 2 of their 3 games. It was really cool that there was a third one. That was like, oh shit, Atlas
Yeah.
again. What the fuck?
Yeah, that was surprising.
By the way, no one should be assuming that any of that content is exclusive at this time, even though Atlas is marketing it as like Xbox and PC only. They did this weird thing last year at last year's showcase where like they marketed for 2 straight days that it was Xbox and PC for the Persona stuff last year, and then they finally added PlayStation and Switch to stuff. So keep that in mind. Wait a week, and if they're still only saying Xbox and PC, then it's probably only Xbox and PC. But I just want to let people know Atlas is really, really weird about that last year, and there was like articles written about it. It was just strange. Like, and like every trailer that they would show, they would only do Xbox and PC. Like they have a weird marketing relationship with Microsoft for stuff. So just keep that in mind. But I thought the showcase was an A+ showcase. All right, well, we'll start out with my rating. I thought it was an A+ showcase. The only thing that could have made it higher would have been if we had seen combat in, or even just more action in the Hellblade demo and the Fable demo. But other than that, like the show was like freaking perfect. I lost my shit when Star Wars came on. The fuzzy axolotl, give it to me. Excited to see gameplay for that tomorrow at Ubisoft show. And like everyone's been talking about, like, oh, they liked Avowed, they liked the In Exile's Clockwork Revolution. Yeah, I agree with like all of that. It was like, and I don't play Sea of Thieves, but the Monkey Island crossover was pretty hilarious. And I don't want to repeat what a lot of people said, because I have basically, like what GeneralMLD, you and Shockley said. I just kind of agree with it mostly. I want to cover some of the stuff that was said after the showcase to the press. Number one, they have double the revenue now as a division than they did during the 360 days. They are still committed to purchasing Activision Blizzard, looking to get any kind of solution they can with regulators. Matt Booty believes they've turned the corner on game releases. He hinted that there were still like 2024 games to still come that haven't been announced yet or announced as 2024. He also stated that they are looking to do 4 large releases a year, dependent on the size of games and timings of things with development. It may end up being 2 or 3 on some years, but their focus, the goal is to hit 4. So they did reiterate that publicly. And Skyrim, which hasn't had a sales update in, oh golly, I think 2016 was the last time it had a sales update. It has hit 60 million copies sold, making it the 6th best-selling game of all time. So like there was a lot of cool stuff said afterwards that ties into stuff. And the showcase, there was an update on the showcase for Wednesday. They're going to do deep dives into a few of the games from first party, and they also said that there would be some third party stuff from their partners, that basically content that didn't show up here that is going to show up there. I would assume more Game Pass stuff. Probably some, if I had to guess, some more indie stuff. But yeah, no, this showcase was excellent. It was absolutely excellent. And the star of the show for me was probably Avowed. I mean, Starfield, obviously, but saying Starfield's so boring. We got to see 47 minutes of it, and it's, it was always going to be the star of my show. But like, my non-Starfield one would be Avowed.
Well, the whole thing with Avowed was, again, there were certain things that we didn't see ever since that they were announced, right? Because they kept the lid on Avowed,
Yes.
Fable,
Fable,
but
yeah.
yeah.
And we've known about Project Cobalt for a while between who's the head of that studio? Why can't I think of his name?
Brian Fargo.
Yeah, Brian Fargo, has always been like, we'll show the game when I'm ready to show the game. Leave me alone. But he's a big tease. And so like it was hilarious to see at the end of it. It's like it'll be ready when it's ready, because it's kind of like, please, I've shown you something. Now leave me alone. Let me finish it. And it looked really good. That game looked sick. My friend is calling it Bio Clockwork.
Yes.
And I mean, yeah, I think that kind of subgenre of FPS is like woefully underappreciated. And I know he said it is a full RPG game that you would expect from In Exile. So it has like full stat distributions, reactionary combat. So like kind of like a lot like an immersive sim almost. And it does have a character creator. Was something that Brian Fargo talked about on Twitter.
Yeah, I did notice that actually in the that there was like different like you could see that the character was custom made at certain points, so like, which is pretty cool, yeah.
But I will give you my favorite moment of the showcase was seeing the crazy fan in Starfield, the character from Oblivion.
Oh yeah.
that was I was dying. It was hilarious. They brought him back. The most annoying Bethesda character of all time. He's back, and they even hinted you can kill him again. Let's go. It's a Bethesda staple. So that's all I got. It was a good time. Everything I could have hoped for, right? Like everything I had wanted from the show.
What did you think of, again, some of these projects that we knew about for a while? Obviously, you mentioned Project Cobalt, which turned into Clockwork Revolution. What about Stoic's Project Belfry?
Yeah, Project Belfry, which originally Jez Corden had reported it would be called The Wandering Tower, but now it's called what? Towerborne? I think.
Yeah, Towerborne.
Yeah. It I mean, it gave me huge Castle Crasher vibes. Everyone remember Castle Crashers?
Yes. Yeah, yes. How could I forget that one?
It gave me big I mean, not the same kind of like art style or tone, right? But it was the it's that same style of game, like the 4-player like action kind of like side-scrolling co-op game that looks awesome.
Yeah, no, there was a number of again, those smaller titles that really caught my eye. There was a horror game announced by the Chinese Room. They did I think it's the Amnesia game. Oh, what's it called? It's the one that's on the oil rig. I just forget the name of it off the top of my head. I had written it down somewhere too. Where the heck did I put it? You guys know what I'm talking about. Yeah, Still Wakes. Yeah, sorry, yeah. Still Wakes the Deep. Still Wakes the Deep, and it launches onto Game Pass.
That looked cool. I most of the games do. I think they showed 27 games, and 21 of them are launching on Game Pass day one.
Yeah, something like. I mean, again, a lot of Game Pass games, which is, I mean, that's healthy for the ecosystem.
Capcom has 2 large games launching into Game Pass now. The game, the what, Path of the Goddess, is that what it was called? They have that.
Yeah.
They have what is it? Exoprimal. Is that what it's called? Exoprimal.
Yeah, Exoprimal. Yeah.
Weeks. Yeah. So like that. That's all. It's cool to see Capcom like coming in and with their newer, more experimental IPs. Being like, okay, let's try them with Game Pass, see if we can build an audience.
Yeah, no, again, it's very exciting. Again, you have both Sega and Capcom being very involved with Xbox Game Pass now, and you can tell, the strides that Microsoft has made with these publishers, these Eastern publishers. It's exciting, to see that content come over, slowly but surely. Centurion Pal, I know you've been idly waiting to get your 2 cents in. I mean, I would love to hear your thoughts the on the showcase. Like, again, what do you think of it? Did you like what you saw? Are there, did you hate it? Please let us know.
I guess I'll just shoot from the cuff. I did like the show. But this is where I just try to throw my unique spin on everything. Was I hesitant about this show? Did I quell my expectations? No, because not to be an ass, but my expectations were already set low by the PlayStation Showcase presentation. So I knew that Xbox was not going to go down the road of trying to force feed multiplayer games and handing all their first party all their single player experiences over to third party studios. I knew Xbox had some things loaded in the chamber ready to go. It was just how many shots were Xbox willing to take? And apparently they were willing to dump the damn clip because they showed a lot. I was excited as soon as I saw the Fable the Fable, whatever you want to call it. There was a little bit of a CG trailer mixed with a little bit of gameplay. Everybody's trying to say that it was all CG'd. You saw some stuff there when it came to the fighting mechanic and a little bit of like her moving through the environment for like a second in one of the towns or villages. It gave us a little bit of what Playground Games are developing. And this just goes to show that I remember when Phil Spencer told Playground Games that they could do Fable, and they're like, everybody's like, why is a racing game company doing an RPG? People should be shoehorned into what they're good at. That's what they said about Arcane Studios. And we all saw Phil Spencer said that he's never going to feed into preventing a developer from expanding their horizons. And honestly, I really think Fable is in good hands. It's really great to see that there's going to be a new spin on the game. There's still that great witty charm and humor to it. I'm really going to be interested in how the character creation works and, like how your decisions affect your character, because you got to remember that's a Fable mainstay is the more of an a-hole you are and the more horrible things you do, the more your character reflects that. And the more heroic deeds you do. Like I remember in Fable 2, when you were like the best thing since sliced bread and the most heroic thing walking, you had a halo above your head. So I'm just very curious on how that's going to work in the long run, on how they kept true to the series when it comes to those kind of mechanics. But yeah, we saw Forza coming this October. We saw Starfield coming this September. If we really think about it, September and October is going to be hell on anybody's wallet trying to keep up with anything from any platform. There is a ton of stuff releasing September, October. We know Avowed, obviously they said 2024. We're not going. I love the fact that Xbox did not just kind of 12-month window. They actually just kind of set a standard of hey, sometime in 2024. Everybody keeps talking about the two main games that were revealed, obvious South of Midnight and Clockwork Revolution. Both had me very intrigued. It obviously, it's good to see Jez Gordon was already hinting through windowscentral.com with the concept art for Compulsion's game. Invader's always been talking about Compulsion's next game. It's finally great to see the game has finally been revealed. Everybody's always asked about what inXile's next game is going to be. And obviously, again, they're not going down the road of something like a Wasteland 3 or a Wasteland franchise style game. They are doing a full-blown single player experience that looks like it looked like an FPS, right? Was I the only one that saw that, or am I crazy? Or am I
talking about
Clockwork Revolution?
Yeah, it's an FPS.
Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So, that's a little bit of again, out of the not holding a developer down and allowing them to branch out into something totally different. And then, what also got me excited, Fallout 76 Atlantic City. I got to get into playing Fallout 76, and I'm really hoping they do Atlantic City a little bit kind of like Fallout New Vegas, because Atlantic City in its own right actually used to be like a second Las Vegas for the United States. Sea of Thieves, once again, getting a great expansion that's going to just drive more people to Sea of Thieves. Like Invader also called it out. We also saw Elder Scrolls Online there.
Mhm.
Like the Elder Scrolls Online is going to be a big game for Xbox this month. We've already got the expansion live on PC. The expansion goes live on both PlayStation and Xbox at the end of June here. Xbox gets the Xbox Series S gets an upgrade. Like I've a lot of people aren't talking about that, but the Series S is getting an upgrade. We're getting a 1 terabyte console now for the Series S, which I think is really cool, because that was actually one of the reasons why I kind of held back on buying a Series S, was because I want to have one around, but I do know like that 500 gigabytes is about a little bit small amount of memory.
It's only like 300 functionally.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Because you always got to have the UI and the operating system going on in
And
the
the quick
background.
resume space, because
Right.
quick resume does take up a bunch of space.
So
The only-
yeah, that
The only SKU they're missing now is a disc one. I did mean to bring that up.
No,
They're missing a discless Series X, and it's like the only SKU they're missing for like the perfect lineup.
do you think they would ever do a discless Series S? Say that 10 times fast.
Discless Series X.
Series X. See, I can't even get it right.
Yeah, listen, I do hate the naming convention they went with. There's no need for it. But the Series X, I think they would. I think it would. I think that if they shift eventually, if they get to the point where they can shift the 1 terabyte Series S down to 300 and shift, maybe don't even sell the 512 anymore. I'm talking like 2 years in the future. They could slot in a diskless Series X at 400, and they'd have a 300, 400, and 500 SKU.
I could see the sales on the Series S, the original, that 512 tanking, because anybody who knows gaming knows you need to have a big hard drive. And I mean, like, to really think about it, for an extra $50, you're getting pretty much double the hardware. I mean, excuse me,
you're getting more than double,
right? And
you're getting 500 added on. So if it's 300 now, you're getting 800.
And you can't even buy an expansion drive for $50.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, it's like a no-brainer if you really think about it. But we also went way beyond first-party studios. That's why everybody's like, I know Xbox really took some shots and really delivered great news with all the first-party games, because, like, let's face it, man, PlayStation's show had very, very little revealings when it came to first-party games. And I believe that the reason why Xbox had so much to show is because of how diversified Xbox really is truly internally as a game development company and a publisher. They are allowing developers to craft games, whether these games are intended for 2 to 3 million players, 6 to 10 million players, or 15 to 20 million players. They don't really set standards on what they want their developers to deliver, unlike other brands that really want those 15, 20 million bangers. But there was also a lot of third-party offerings. We saw Ubisoft finally come out and show the game that we thought everybody heard that Ubisoft was working on a Star Wars game, but nothing had really been talked about or shown about it. But now we know it's Star Wars Outlaws, and it's coming next year. And finally, the Wicked Witch is dead. The Star Wars franchise has been literally torn from the clutches of Electronic Arts. Other companies are allowed to make Star Wars games, and the first one is Ubisoft. That's a lot to be excited about. Now, everybody here has also talked about Persona, and obviously Atlas is helping Xbox really strive to getting a better presence going on in the eastern part of the world. But we also saw them advertise the new Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth shown. Shockley brought up Capcom's Path of the Goddess. But we also saw not earlier, like, not to bring up another show, but we also saw, because you mentioned Exoprimal. Exoprimal is going in Game Pass, but also sometime around September or October, fall, they're also having a crossover event with Street Fighter 6 and Exoprimal. So Capcom is doing some really awesome stuff. We saw Xbox really keep hammering it down that the whole attitude has changed. The concept of the gaming industry has changed. I'm sorry, but at this point, Activision and PlayStation are not the best of friends. As a matter of fact, if we really look at it, the next Call of Duty season pass was advertised on Jeff Keighley's Summer Game Fest. It wasn't even shown on the PlayStation showcase. I'm not saying that they got rid of the contract with PlayStation because that's obviously ironclad, but we're just seeing more and more that Activision is separating themselves, gaining a little bit more distance every single time away from PlayStation. And that's one of the things I really wanted to see in this showcase is what kind of cooperative ventures that Microsoft is developing on the back end between other companies. And we see that things are getting stronger with Atlas. Things are getting great with Sega. Capcom is still around, even though Capcom advertises the hell out of Resident Evil on PlayStation. The friendship between Xbox and Capcom is still strong because, they revealed a brand new game on an Xbox stage. We saw, CD Projekt Red come out with Keanu Reeves and finally give a trailer for Phantom Liberty. And then we also got the Payday 3 revealed, where Payday 3 is coming in Game Pass. I believe, Invader, you mentioned that. I'm looking forward to playing that game. Hopefully we can all get together and play that game together, because Payday 3 is one of those games that really delivers well when it's best played with friends. I was hoping maybe this whole Payday thing was going to be a Contraband trailer, but obviously we got Payday 3. I was really hoping to see like Contraband, State of Decay 3. Those are kind of some of my letdowns from the show that I would like to know more about, at least State of Decay 3, because I enjoyed 1 and 2. And then finally, for all those that were paying attention at the end of the show when Phil Spencer came in, and also just to kind of like, before I get to what Phil Spencer did, it was great to see Sarah Bond was technically the first executive to come out and give any kind of a comment or a speech on stage, which obviously shows that more than likely one day, few years from now, Sarah Bond could be the absolute face of Xbox once Phil Spencer kind of retires. And that's where, after all the crap that has been thrown Phil Spencer's way over the past few months with Redfall and all the other things that have taken place, obviously that he probably wanted to get Sarah Bond to kind of start trying to be the face of the brand a little bit. So that was good to see. But going back to Phil Spencer, it was his t-shirt that really kind of is starting to maybe even hint even a much further bigger relationship for Activision. Now that's the question. I'm pretty sure in Crusader can get, but Crusader, what game was on the t-shirt? Forgive me, I'm not too familiar with the brand. I just know from the people I've been chatting with, there is people excited over the game that was on the shirt.
Do we want to have chat guess first? Or you want me to say it?
Oh yeah, if anybody wants to. Yeah, well, we already got somebody in there. Yeah.
Hexen, baby.
No.
Does everyone know what Hexen is?
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't see it, MLD?
Yeah, he was wearing a Hexen shirt the
whole
way. He was wearing a Hexen shirt.
I loved Hexen back in the day.
Yeah.
Okay, here.
It's a title I missed. I'm going to be honest. It's a title I missed.
I thought he was about to drop a Hexen.
If you make that 3D, holy, okay.
To be fair, we are kind of getting a 3D Hexen this year, like in July. It's that Immortals of Avium game is kind of like a 3D Hexen, magic-based FPS, right?
Oh, wait a minute. I actually just looked this up. I know it. This was on Nintendo 64.
Yeah, it's
Holy
like
cow,
Doom,
that's why I don't
magic
remember it.
instead of guns. Like that's
I remember playing. I've probably got maybe 2-3 hours. I played this for like 2-3 hours at a friend's house.
Yeah,
like three classes.
So I don't think that was necessarily a tease. Okay, I could be. I don't know that Activision.
I don't know if they're doing Hexen. I'm just wanting to say that it's great to see that maybe the relationship between Activision and Xbox is a lot stronger than people want to give credit for.
Well, and I could also see like them acquiring them and being like, hey, does anyone in-house want to make a Hexen? No? Okay. Does anyone out of the house want to make, do we want to like license this to an external studio? Does someone want to make a Hexen? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
yeah, it'll be a while. The deal will have to close and they'll have to figure it out. But
it was really cool that Hexen showed up. That was really cool. when you're done, there is one thing that I want to say, but I want you to finish your stuff first.
Oh no, that's where
Okay.
I just, hey man, what better way to finish out my little speech than to talk about Phil Spencer's shirt?
I know. I love Phil Spencer doing weird things that makes people excited, like his weird shelf or like what his shirt is and stuff like that. Heck, that was the first thing, by the way. Like he walked out on stage and all of us in Craps thing was like, oh my god, he's wearing a Hexen shirt.
I feel bad for Phil Spencer because literally the minute he comes on camera or on stage,
people are just
everything about him is being undressed.
Yeah.
The background, his clothing, they're looking for freaking symbols in his hairstyles.
I mean, listen, he had a Hexen shirt on today though, so that was
if only he would wear a Crimson Skies t-shirt. If only.
It is very obvious to me that Xbox is trying to solidify themselves as the Western or not even the Western, as the RPG powerhouse, right? They're not going to have everything, mind you. There's no it's not like PlayStation has every third-person action adventure game, but they're trying to solidify themselves as the RPG house. Did you see how many RPGs were at the show today?
That's what I was surprised about.
We had Fable, we had Avowed, we had the Clockwork Revolution, we had Starfield, we had Cyberpunk, we had 3 Atlas games. We had I don't know, is that do we know about that Capcom game? I wanted to say that Capcom game was going to be an RPG, but I have no idea.
Keep in mind that's without any Halo and Gears of War as well,
Xbox is moving themselves into this position where like, hey, we have Halo, we have Gears, we have Forza, we have these like staples of Xbox, and we,
Hell, not even Minecraft. Minecraft wasn't even shown.
I thought Minecraft would be there, and then I realized the update for Minecraft literally came out 3 days ago. The new the huge update, and so they're probably not even going to tease the next one until Minecon.
Wait, there is a Minecon, right?
Yeah, there's a Minecraft convention. They usually do have Halo at this with its, or not Halo. They usually do have Minecraft at this with its updates, but like the update literally just came out, so there's no reason to.
Well, they definitely are pushing RPGs because if we really think about it, the ESO expansion is already live on PC.
Yeah.
So literally you could go play that expansion right now, but it is still yet to come out on console. But obviously they just wanted to double down again on a fantasy RPG.
And mind you, this isn't even all of the RPGs they have in-house. They have Elder Scrolls 6 still. They have Outer Worlds still. They have another game at In Exile that's in pre-production, right? Like so, like they have these RPGs just kind of churning and pumping and pumping, and you can see that they're partnering with people for marketing for things. Like I guarantee you, like unless Sony pays a fortune, you can. Put money on it now. I think that Dragon Age and Mass Effect will have marketing on Xbox. Xbox is going heavy into, hey, we are the place to play RPGs, right? And I guarantee that for the foreseeable future, Atlas is going to be using Xbox as their marketing. They have 3 games here today, and like, and they had the Like a Dragon. We had another one, like the Like a Dragon game is an RPG. They had 4 Sega titles at this showcase today, right?
Aside from CD Projekt Red and BioWare, those are the only other big name Western games.
You're forgetting Larian, the people who make Baldur's Gate and Divinity.
Oh yeah,
is that as big as?
Yeah, they are now. Absolutely, Divinity 2 blew them up. They weren't before Divinity 2. Divinity 2 came out and it kind of cascaded Larian forward. Larian is like a studio of like 400 people now across like 6 development studios worldwide.
Oh wow.
They're a pretty big organization. And there are a few up and coming that are they're like new studios that haven't released anything yet, but Casey Hudson, the creator of Mass Effect, opened a new studio. That was at it's called Humanoid. And then there was there's a studio that was opened by Wizards of the Coast called Archetype that's making a sci-fi RPG. So like there are some more like people that are coming on the scene. And then Brass Lion, I was shocked we didn't see Brass Lion's game today. That's the Wu-Tang Clan RPG that's supposed to be in development with Microsoft. Microsoft's publishing it at Brass Lion. It's called Project Shaolin. I was shocked we didn't see that today, although that would probably be something that would be Game Awards because like you get the Wu-Tang Clan to come out and like do something. That sounds like something you could easily shoehorn into a Jeff Keighley thing. And it would be hilarious. But like,
there was a lot of
there's-
stuff missing, to be honest.
well, so we, they
was a
had
pretty
12
packed show,
first-party projects. Like, it's like, yeah, there's so much missing, but at the same time, like, how much more of their own stuff could they fit in and still show some third-party?
Oh no,
They have to
I
show the
I
third
agree. I agree. It's just
like-
there's some that are, again,
Yeah.
there was some that I kind of expected to be there, like maybe Ara, for example.
Aura was oddly absent, and I don't think it was at the PC game show. That was strange that it wasn't there because it's had some technical. It keeps having technical flights. Like I'm technically in the insider one. I didn't download the latest two. I can't talk about that. I'm NDA'd for that. But
Well, I have a personal theory that you think they might be wanting to delay to get a simultaneous console release too.
I don't know. They could be. We didn't see Age of Empires 4 today, which maybe that's a good call. Because, we've seen Age of Empires 4 time, but we didn't see Age of Empires 4 for console today. That was a little shocking.
That's okay. We know it's coming.
We know it's coming, and that's fine.
No Indiana Jones.
No
was
Indiana
about to
Jones is
say.
probably the biggest. I figured we were only going to
Maybe
see
QuakeCon.
either Compulsion or In Exile, and we'd see Indiana Jones. I wasn't expecting to see both, so I'm not, upset we didn't see Indiana Jones, but I was also like, yeah, where's Indiana Jones? Now, they could... If that one, because of how it was licensed originally with Bethesda before they were acquired, right? Because we don't know if that'll be multi-platform or not. We don't. And Bethesda could have something in their contract that says it has to launch in a certain way. We don't know this. And maybe they didn't want to show it at the Xbox showcase, so they could show it at QuakeCon, right?
Yeah.
So that's a game where I'm like, okay, well, maybe they want to show it at QuakeCon. Maybe they want to show that at maybe, we can actually get them
Gamescom?
back at the Game Awards this year. And Indiana Jones would be a cool thing to see at the Game Awards. So, we didn't see Everwild. Now, I didn't think we'd see Everwild because, Lord knows what's going on with that. We didn't see... I don't think... Did any of us really expect Perfect Dark? I know, Shock, you wanted it.
No.
Did you expect it?
No.
No, I thought maybe we could have seen like they did for some of the others, like a
Sure.
in
An in-engine
game,
Yeah,
or
in-game
even
and engine.
just like a snippet or something. But yeah, even an in-engine like that you saw for Compulsion, just to show, hey, we're still, just for what came out in the articles earlier this year, just be like, hey, it's going smooth. We're going,
Yeah, it would be cool to have seen something. Contraband wasn't here. I didn't expect it to be. Did anyone expect Contraband to be here? It was originally supposed to launch this year, but I don't think it was going. I never thought it was going to. Contraband wasn't here.
Contraband. What about? I was actually hoping that again some other third-party titles that we knew about, like Dark Tide, for example, would make an appearance.
Yeah, Dark Tide's in a really weird spot where it wasn't exceptionally well received on PC. It was good, but there was a lot missing and there was some stability issues. So maybe they just haven't gotten that wrapped up yet. We were told explicitly that Stalker wasn't going to be here. The community manager said it a few days ago. So that one, and again, I would have expected it here until they said it wasn't, and then it's yeah, okay, the Ukraine is still a crater. I understand if you cannot show your game yet. I will patiently wait for your game. You are one of the few developers in the world that if you need 3 more years to make your game, that's totally understandable because your country is a war zone.
Things have gotten a little bit worse over there.
Yeah, they have gotten worse. Now, a lot of their development was moved to the Czech Republic.
That's a process.
Yeah, it is a process. The Czech Republic actually offered sanctuary to their entire company. But a lot of the people, including I know one of the community managers is on the front lines fighting, and so to hear that game's not there, I'm not even upset. There isn't a fiber of me that's damn, I wish I had been there. It's as soon as you say that you guys can't show it, it's fine, you can't show it. I understand. Cool. When you're ready, I'll be excited. I think they said they want to have something to show this fall. Is what they said in that post.
And if I could just piggyback on what you're saying about Stalker is for anybody interested in that game, please don't be an a-hole and check out the hacks that the Russians are doing, because they're like basically they're hacking the company, and they're trying to release Stalker 2 on the internet, kind of like what happened with Last of Us 2. They're trying to pull the same crap, and that's where if you want to respect the developers at all, don't feed into that. Don't even give them any acknowledgement, kind of thing, because it's kind of quite sad that literally, like, we're even seeing it just kind of go that sour, that there's people out there trying to release the game on the internet.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a shitty instance. I did see some of that. It's unfortunate. Again, the whole thing is just a giant quagmire, a giant what do you want me to say? It sucks for the Stalker team, Stalker 2. I want to, obviously I want to see it, but there are things kind of more important going on that, again, kind of lend credence to. Guys, just wait a bit. Don't worry, the game will come out when it's ready. It already looked pretty good, even going back a couple of years ago. So, guys, just let it, again, brew, take its time, and let things, sort themselves out and become peaceful, hopefully soon. Other titles, guys, Everwild. That's another game that we haven't seen in a while.
That game is like, there's games where people will, like, in the console warring community will say that game's in development hell, and it's really not. Everwild is in development hell. I don't think that's debatable. I know it's been rebooted at least twice. The current team lead for it is someone who's really well known in the industry. I can't remember his name, and I cannot remember what he's done, but I know that, like, Andy Robinson at Video Game Chronicles, like, I haven't looked into it in a while because he's the one who broke some of the stories about it. But because this guy is at the head, I am fully confident that the game will be good when after the reboots and when they release it. But he was like, I have no idea when it's going to release, and so I'm not worried about Everwild at this point. But, like, I don't think we're going to see that for a while. I think that's a 2026 game. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, I heard it got it's going to be a little bit like a Viva Pinata, if anybody played that.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
they got the building blocks of a good game with all the assets they've made so far.
Yeah.
It's just, I guess they're figuring out the best way to make use of it. But I feel like they got it, and it's just on its way right now.
Because originally it was going to be a live service game like Sea of Thieves.
Yeah,
that was the
was
original
it actually?
Plan. Yeah, that was the original plan for it.
Like co-op taming animals, that kind of stuff.
It wasn't. From what I understand, it was kind of similar to Bungie coming in with to Naughty Dog and saying, "Hey, your game won't survive as a service." That Rare just kind of kept looking at the game and they're like, we have such cool concepts for stuff here, but, like, the way we're doing it just won't work as a functional game for a profit, right? Because video games do have to make a profit. And from what I understand, that's why it kept getting rebooted, because they just didn't know what they were doing with it. And for what I understand, they do kind of now, and it's a Viva Pinata style something.
Yeah, maybe next year we'll see it.
Yeah.
I mean, I have been wondering if they were going to do a Viva Pinata-like game. So if that's the case, I mean, it would make sense that they would transform it into that. It's just, I know that, it's again, when was that shown? Was that in 2020 at the XO?
Yes.
Yeah.
Or
yeah, sounds like it.
I think Hellblade's the oldest announced game. That was like 2019, right?
I
think
because Series X was announced.
There was one in 2019, and everything else was 2020 or further.
Yeah, I think Everwild was. I think it was the same one. I think as Crossfire X, which I think was 2019.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, hey, I'm not complaining. I mean, they have all these game studios now, all these IP. Like, again, I'm really happy with the show. Just, again, there's some stragglers, right? Some games that, again, we haven't heard from in a while. Some third-party games as well. Hell, I mean, I'm waiting for, like, again, some of these third-party games. Like, I remember Routine getting shown off last year, and I was really excited about it. And then they've just been kind of silent. Stuff like that, right? So, again, I'm excited. A bunch of these games will come to Game Pass. It's just like waiting. In due time, though. Also, I mean, okay, so we talked about Indiana Jones. I mean, do you guys think that Machine Games are too busy to get Wolfenstein going?
I think that's on the back burner myself because I heard the other game was great, but it just didn't sell pretty good. So I think that it put the pause button on that. I think you got a team that are set aside that are working on it. That's just my own personal theory, but the bulk are working on Indiana Jones. I feel like.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then we also, it's been a couple of years now since Doom Eternal was released. They're probably cooking up something as well.
If they're smart, they'll just announce its next thing at QuakeCon to huge success. Like they, because I know technically Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal weren't announced at QuakeCon, but they were first shown like hardcore at QuakeCon. So I think that especially if the rumors are true and id's next game is a Quake game, unveiling that at QuakeCon would be insane. Like for those fans, because you know what I mean. Like the fans of Quake, QuakeCon is kind of like their bread and butter. There's other things at QuakeCon like Doom stuff, but like
it would be very fitting, obviously.
If I would, as awesome as it would be to have a Quake announced at this main event, I think it would be way cooler if they could announce QuakeCon. Personally, I think that would be the best thing that they could possibly do, and it would excite fans to no end.
And again, I don't expect them to announce everything at this one event because I prefer it when it's spaced out. It's just the timing with some studios. It's like, well, they might,
we're getting close on stuff, and maybe some of that stuff could come next year. Like. We could if we could have a Quake announced this year and it released next year. Like that's not out of the picture. You know what I mean? It could be announced at QuakeCon and come out next fall.
Well, again, the good thing is we are getting dates for a lot of these games now, or at least dates general timelines.
They are being I told them I wanted more consistency. I wanted more commitments that could be kept without being too wide, and I think they did a good job of that today with dates for this fall. Commitments for next year, commitments in general for we want to get quarterly releases, but we're going to be flexible and adjust that based on like actual differences and things. Like they the way they elected to word things and describe things is exactly what they should do today, and that was very, very good. And I am a very happy camper compared to how I was for the last 7 months. They did I loved how they were talking about it today.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I do think I feel like if Hellblade somehow made this year, it would have been that 1-2 triple punch. But now that I'm thinking about it, I feel like Starfield is more than a heavy hitter. Like that can also be the holiday Xbox title at the same time, with Forza being the companion exclusive. That game is
Starfield.
Whatever would release in November will be overshadowed by Starfield even 2 months later.
Yeah. Going into the showcase before today, I probably wouldn't have agreed with you. After seeing what they showed today, absolutely. I'm going to be playing that game for... Like, my one friend played Elden Ring 3 times before he put it down. That's going to be me with Starfield. I'm probably going to put a solid 400 hours into it before I put it down. That game looks incredible.
Mm-hmm. No, it does. And you look at Starfield, the release window, it's September 6th.
Yeah. And technically September 1st.
Oh, yeah, I guess
if you get the highest edition, which you can if you get the upgrade edition, there's a digital version of it for $100. But if you're a Game Pass member, you can buy it for $30, and it gives you 5-day early access to the game. You better believe my ass will be paying it early access.
That's actually a pretty brilliant strategy.
Yeah.
Like, since they've done that with Forza Horizon 5,
they're doing it with Forza as well.
Yeah, and they usually give it to you free when they delist it eventually. If you bought the the expansion like that, that's what they did last time.
Yeah, and
people say like Game Pass doesn't lead to any sales or whatever the hell. Like, but this is like this is a pretty enticing compensating mechanism, I would say.
And that upgrade, it's 5-day early access. It comes with a bunch of like in-game stuff, but it also comes with the first expansion for the game. And it specifically says the first expansion for the game. So there are probably more.
No doubt.
If I had to guess, we're going to be playing Starfield and Starfield content for quite some time.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, they want that game to last for a while. Like,
one thing I'm a little sad that they didn't, and this is a personal thing, I'm a little sad that in the 40-minute Starfield Direct, they didn't talk about the creation kit at all, the modding tools. That was a little sad to me. I mean, they never do this early to launch, but I was a little sad. This is my bread and butter. People who know me know that I love Bethesda's modding scene. Love it to death. I was just a little sad that they didn't talk about some of the upgrades to the creation kit, but maybe they're not ready to yet, and that's fine.
Well, to be fair, I mean, they have enough time to talk about it later on.
Plenty of time to talk about it, and it wasn't like they were repeating themselves or anything in that thing either. Like I wasn't bored during that 50 minutes of Starfield talk. Anyone getting the collector's edition? I'm debating it for the smartwatch.
I'm probably gonna pass because I already have Armored Core 6 collectors pre-ordered as well as Space Marine 2, so I'm probably gonna pass on this one.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
it does look really cool. I did
get it's cool.
the, controller pre-ordered, pick it up this Thursday.
Controller does look sick with those like
I love the clear triggers.
Yeah, the clear triggers look awesome.
That sold me. I was like, are those clear triggers? I don't, just for whatever reason, the aesthetic of it looked cool.
I'm gonna be real. I wish they would sell these limited edition ones for like 3 months through the Design Labs.
Right. Yeah,
like,
actually that would be
like
nice.
A pre-fit design, you can't edit them, but sell them through that just so that they're really easily accessible. You know what I mean? And they could do it for like every freaking game. Do you know how many freaking controllers people would buy if you could get easily get a custom one for like every game?
Mm-hmm.
Get third parties in on it.
Have like Starfield like branding and whatnot. Like that's what I was actually expecting, to be honest with you, like them doing like Design Lab stuff again. But like, you could do like, again, have Starfield, you could put your own little there's already like a preset of different symbols and wordings that you can use on it. You can do it for Starfield, Hellblade 2, Halo, Gears of War, you name it, right?
And like, I mean, they could even do a profit sharing thing with third parties, and they could do one for like Mass Effect, they could do one for Dragon Age, they could do one for Yakuza, they could do, you know what I mean? Like, be like, hey Sega, we'll give you 20% of the proceeds of this controller if we can make it, Yakuza themed, and then just sell it as a prefab through Design Labs, and maybe you can get your name etched into it as like an additional cost. I think that they have this cool custom controller thing that they could be selling limited edition controllers through it, because like they do all these limited edition controllers for like giveaways and stuff like that, but they only make like 4 of them. Why you ain't selling them to me? I'll buy 100 of them. Like it was really awesome that we got a Starfield one, and I'm probably gonna go out and order it too because it looks cool.
Man, I've already bought so many controllers in months that it's just like, but this one does look
a lot of controllers.
Yeah. I mean, and to be fair, like they sell really well. Like the Xbox has a really good thing going with their controllers. You know what I mean? Like they have a really, really good like they found a market there because their controllers sell really well, not only to console players, but it's like the de facto PC gamepad. You know what I mean? Like it is true. It is the controller people use on PC. And it's not because it's Xbox. It is because it is literally the best controller. Period.
Like offset joysticks. Best ones.
Well, it's opposite joysticks, and it's just the weighting of it and like how all the buttons work and feel. I wish the Elite controllers were a little bit more sturdy because they would be the de facto on PC in my opinion. But they have an excellent D-pad for whatchamacallits, like side scrollers and fighting games. It's just the best controller you can get, and so like they have a market to sell super custom ones and custom game ones because people will buy them because they have the world's largest market possible for it because they have console players and they have PC players who want it. It's just a no-brainer to me. As I'm hoping they see the results of this or the Starfield controller and they go, "Hey guys, you think we should do this more often?" And they go, "Yeah, we should do this more often."
Yeah, I wish Sony would have that same sentiment.
I know.
Just like, hey, look how much money they're making off just selling these controllers.
Yeah.
We're just gonna release these like for
really,
cyan, magenta. Like, I'm like, really? That's it?
Well, and the collector's ones for PlayStation,
even the Hogwarts one is just like barely anything, and it was already gone, so you could never even get it. It was gone so fast.
Like I liked the Final Fantasy 16 controller. I'm not even a big fan of the 16, but like I liked the look of that controller. But like I thought the God of War one just looked bad. Like
yeah, the Hogwarts one looked
like,
kind of bad too.
I feel like they're not putting enough thought into the fact that they could sell those peripherals real well because I mean DualSense even has straight up support on PC. Right, the DualSense controllers. Like, I think they're not like PlayStation's not even thinking about that market correctly at all. They could be selling way more of those things to PC players if they could do custom shit. You know, Xbox is on the ball with design labs and being able to do custom shit. Xbox's next step towards leveling up is, hey, let's get some cool limited edition controllers like this Starfield one. Looks so cool. And the headset too. I mean, I'm not gonna get. I have a much more expensive headset that I like more. I'm not gonna get a limited edition headset. But like, I could see a lot of people who are hyped about Starfield. And they're like, I need a new headset. Let's get this Starfield one. Like that thing, and it matches the controller. You know what I mean? Like they look cool.
You guys think a custom console's in the cards?
That's what they should do. That would be sick.
I thought there was going to be.
I think that the days of
should be over Halo Infinite one.
Yeah. I think the days of custom consoles from Xbox and PlayStation are largely over. I think that they may move towards a like skin you can place over top of it.
Well, even so, yeah. Because Series X is good for that, for your wraparound.
Like PlayStation moved on to selling the panels. The Final Fantasy 16 panels aren't that cool looking, but that's a lot cheaper for both them and the like a fan to purchase, right? Like a lot of people don't have a need for like 4 consoles. You know what I mean? Like maybe us crazy people would buy a couple collectors ones. I mean, I have some older collectors ones from like 360 era. But like if you can sell a custom thing that can turn your existing console into that collector's look, like for example, the plates for the PS5 or a thing that you could put over the Series X or S, I think that would do really well. But I think they're moving more into the peripherals, like the headsets and the controllers, because I don't think they want to separate their product lines as much, right? Because that's like 3 different assembly lines you're going to have versus like one assembly line, if that makes sense, for producing the console hardware. Because they're already having a hard time producing and shipping the hardware around the world as it is. Like we're just getting to a point where it's stabilizing now. But you know, do you want to pull some of them away to make these collector's editions, potentially dropping your efficiency in general? Probably not.
Isn't it crazy? They were so forward thinking, and they barely are doing anything with it with those panels.
Yeah, I know, right? That is
all
very
you have to
frustrating.
do is print plastic. It's not even.
They could be licensing it to everyone and their mother and making like just 30% for doing nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
every game could have their own.
Every game could have their own custom thing. They could have design labs for the plates. You know what I mean? And that's frustrating. And like, I wish Xbox would do a design lab plastic sheath that goes over my console and just lets me turn it into something else.
But again, they were 360 faceplates.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. They weren't shy about that at first, and I thought that was, kind of neat when it first came out. I was like, oh yeah, they were kind of forward thinking there, right? Because they already had the idea, and just panel editions, like you said, skins.
I think the best thing that Microsoft could do is when they're designing their next console, look at what Sony did with the concept, not the design, the concept of removable plates for the PS5 and how much actual space it took up versus the 360, which only took up that little bit of front, and see how they could work that design into their next console. PlayStation, on the other hand, look at how Xbox designed their Series X and make a regular fucking looking device and not the Seto Kaiba looking
monstrosity
that is my, and I like my PS5, but man, does it a monstrosity sitting in my shelf.
It's different, yeah.
It is not. I do not like the visual look of it at all. And please, for the love of God, can we not make white the base color? Can we make that a color that comes later?
Black's a better
Gray,
color.
black, I don't care. Just not white. It shows the dust so much more and makes me feel bad about my house.
Or the glossy black, because I already have a couple USB scratches on that USB port.
Yeah.
Right around it. I'm like, ooh, I must have missed like one or two times.
I like the matte black look of the Series X, the PS and the PS4 and the original PS2 is perfect. Right?
Yes.
That is the color your console should be.
Yep. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, those are the color your console should be base. You want to do cool stuff and let fans do weird things to match like the looks of their house. You do it as a cool cosmetic thing and you charge them a little extra money. Like, and everyone's happy.
Now, Crusader, there was also another studio that was absent that people were expecting to see something from, ZeniMax Online Studios.
Yeah, and that's another one where I'm like, well, they did have ESO, and I'm just kind of like, I don't know how they're going to treat that MMO. I've said a few times on here that I think that MMO is going to be multi-platform, and people have been upset with that. But like, the cold fact of the matter is, an MMO will just do better if it's available to more people. You know, I mean, Final Fantasy 14 did do fine without it, but I, genuinely speaking, believe Final Fantasy 14 would be doing even better if it was on Xbox. Period. End of story. And I do think that Microsoft is looking at that. And I genuinely believed Phil when Phil said that, like, look, we're going to be looking at Bethesda on a case-by-case basis as to how we are going to treat their releases. I believe that most of them are going to be like, yeah, that's going to be exclusive. But you look at ZeniMax Online, and it's like, well, what is the cost analysis of the benefit an MMO would bring us for it being exclusive to our platform versus the benefit in revenue towards it being other places? That's where I think that has to be weighed. And if they were going to announce that MMO as a multi-platform thing, I don't think they would announce it at their own showcase.
Yeah, it would do more harm than good, because Xbox fans would just cry like, well, why you put it on PlayStation? Like, even if we get like a perk with like Game Pass benefits, it'll still leave kind of a bittersweet taste.
Yep.
That's why I think, you're right. It's better off at like another
Summer
showcase.
Game Fest, or
maybe like Gamescom or something.
Summer Game Fest, PC Gamer showcase, Future Games showcase, Game Awards, just a random announcement in the middle of an afternoon. I'm just kind of like, now if it'll be exclusive, which I'm not ruling out that it could be, you know, I wouldn't be shocked either way. It is what it is. Then you can show it at your showcase. That's fine. I also don't know if they want to announce another MMO so close to an expansion of their own that's like launching right now.
That makes sense. Yeah.
That's another thing. You don't want to take the wind out of your current thing. So like, is it a good timing right now? I don't know. And we don't know. Do we know if that's an original IP?
We know there's rumors, but no one knows what they're actually making.
Right. Because I don't know if because they've talked about a lot about it. I don't know if it's an original IP. I don't know if it's a licensed IP. I don't know if it's an IP from inside of ZeniMax, right? And if it's a licensed IP, then let's say it's like a Lucasfilm licensed IP. This is complete conjecture and speculation. Let's say it's a Lucasfilm IP. Well, Lucasfilm might want to announce it at something in particular. You know what I mean? If it's like a Marvel thing, they could want to announce it at a particular thing. If it's, it's all. There's so many factors that go into that.
There's a danger in doing licensed IPs for MMOs and games as a service, because if they ever lose that license, they're not even allowed to update the game. Like if the world's worst game-breaking bug starts to emerge in the game and they've lost the license, they're not even allowed to fix the bug.
Yeah, and I am actually shocked how long the Lord of the Rings MMO has gone and how long the Star Wars: The Old Republic MMO has gone. Because that Star Wars: The Old Republic MMO predates the EA partnership with Disney. Yeah, that is a long ongoing game, and they just had another expansion recently. And so I'm just kind of like, yeah, I don't know where that would be shown at all. I think the biggest studio mystery of like what the hell are they doing is Roundhouse still, personally.
Yeah.
Roundhouse Games. We know they were helping on Redfall, but like, what are they actually doing? What game are they making? Are they making an RPG? Are they making a strategy game? Or what is Roundhouse up to?
Yeah, it has been a while since
we don't even have a rumor. We don't have a code name. We don't have like anyone from that studio talking about anything. You know what I mean? Like, we knew Compulsion was working on a third person action adventure dark fantasy game. They told us that much, and that was all they told us for forever. We knew that In Exile was working on an RPG of some kind. There were leaks otherwise, but like, we were told they were working on an RPG from Brian Fargo. But like, we do not know or have any idea to speculate what Roundhouse is working on. They were previously Human Head.
Yeah, that's correct. They reformed. Yeah.
There was like a hostile takeover of the company, and they reformed as Roundhouse. So we really don't know what they're working on. We have no idea what ZeniMax decided they were doing.
Yeah,
wasn't one of their games like the original Parade 2006?
I think so.
Yes,
before
it was.
They were merged.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
they were bought in like 2018.
Their last game, I think, was Rune.
I don't think they ever even actually. I don't think they
Rune
officially
2.
released
Rune
it.
2.
Did they officially release it? Because they were working on it, and the whole reason they dissolved and reformed was they wanted out of the contract for it.
Yeah, I don't think it actually.
And it was actually a whole lawsuit against ZeniMax. Was that?
Yeah.
That like the company that they were supposed to be making Rune with was Take-Two, and it got real messy, and Take-Two sued Bethesda.
Oh my god! Wow.
Yeah, that was a whole messy. Messy.
Well, they never struck me as a large studio, right? I mean, how big are they?
I don't know. They literally don't talk. Like we know nothing about them.
Yeah, they're an iffy. Like they're a very like we know they exist, but we don't know what the heck is going on.
Human Head Studio. I don't even know if we know how many people they had when they closed. Their Wikipedia article is depressingly small.
Very.
Yeah.
Very.
All right, so they're a wild card.
Rune 2 doesn't even have its own freaking Wikipedia page.
Like, I remember seeing, I think I saw gameplay of it a while back, but it's been a while. And of course, there's other studios too that have been, like, again, pretty quiet since they put out Xbox versions of their games. Like, again, Arcane Leon, they're working on something, obviously. So
I think they let the cat in the bag there accidentally with Deathloop 2. I think the voice actor in an interview kind of let it slip.
Oh, did he? Really?
Yeah, he made it sound like either there's more content coming to Deathloop or there's a Deathloop 2.
I mean, I wouldn't mind that personally. I kind of like Deathloop, so
Well, I mean, all the awards the game won, the high critic score. I mean, they'd be silly not to explore that universe.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a perfect game, but I don't know. I liked it.
Same universe as Dishonored.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But as
Same
much
world
as I
as
like the
Dishonored.
Dishonored series, they did say that it never really was a big seller, unfortunately.
And none of Arcane's games have been, but like that's why Arcane's really happy to be under Xbox, because their games fill a very particular niche that that
agreed.
they do, and they do well in Game Pass. Prey did really well in Game Pass, from what I understand.
Yeah, I played the game because of that Game Pass entry.
That's what I did too. That's what a lot of people did. And from what I understand, Microsoft is very receptive to Arcane doing their more niche stuff because it's found a home in Game Pass, even if it doesn't sell well. And that's really important to Microsoft. Now, they like Microsoft needs to, with a lot of their stuff, needs to balance, okay, sales versus Game Pass, because they are operating in both worlds. And they'll have some games that will sell far more than they will actually be used in Game Pass. Call of Duty, Minecraft, those kind of things that straight up like make just more money through how they operate versus the people they're attracting to Game Pass. And then there will be games like Hi-Fi Rush and Arcane's content that will be far more valuable as a staple to keeping people subscribed to Game Pass than they are actually as being 100% fully profitable titles. Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, I'm inclined to agree. It's really interesting the difference in strategy between Xbox and PlayStation here. Like you guys said before, their single player games have to sell tens of millions, whereas I feel like Xbox's strategy is different. They got their golden goose kind of games with recurring revenue. So your Elder Scrolls Online, your Minecrafts, they're soon going to have Diablo 4, Call of Duty Warzone, all that stuff that kind of makes money, Sea of Thieves. And that will in turn fund the niche genre games like Dusk Falls or Pentiment or the games you said.
Yeah.
It's actually, we get the best of both worlds that way. We got our variety. We get the little games. Not every game has to be a blockbuster, and Xbox gets the better variety as a result. So I can't complain.
I'd say it's a little bit more complicated than that, but the spirit of it is exactly what you say. It's not so much that X, Y, or Z game is designed to make money versus the games that aren't designed to make money but make people happy. It's more like you have a set of games that's designed to make raw money, and that's their whole point, and like that's how they exist. That's your games as a service titles. Then you have games that are in the middle where they're going to sell really well and they'll be good. They'll be really good on Game Pass to create that stickiness in the ecosystem where you don't want to leave the Xbox ecosystem. That's your Starfields, that's your Avoweds, that's your probably your Halo campaigns versus your Halo multiplayers. Your shit like Gears of War campaign instead of its multiplayer. The any of the RPGs that were announced today, essentially. And then you have your games that are designed for raw stickiness within Game Pass and not really to make a profit. And that is your Hi-Fi Rushes, your really experimental games like the Tower, the Project Belfry, the stuff like Hi-Fi Rush, stuff like Ori, where it's more about creating these quality, exciting, and unique experiences that keep Game Pass sticky and keep people wanting to stay in it, especially in between large releases.
Yes.
I don't think it's so much that it's like these games fund the other games. I think it's so that you can create a wide variety of stuff to cover all of your bases and create as much stickiness in your ecosystem so that people aren't leaving, and as much raw revenue input in a traditional sense.
So you also have a fourth factor on all that. It's kind of like, I hate to say it, but it's like creating YouTube content. You have videos that keep up the times, you have videos that of your interests, and then you have videos that you hope expand your horizons. And let's just say, but by having the innovation and the variety of the style of games that Xbox is allowing to come out through all sorts of different titles, you have that moment of hitting the lottery
Yep.
Kind of like how Fortnite hit the lottery with a
Yep.
damn game mode.
That is an
And all of a
excellent way to
sudden,
say it.
and all of a sudden, you know, like you could have Joe Blow's freaking biking game freaking explode,
Yeah.
and it's doing more. And all of a sudden, that's when you're like, okay, people like this. We can kind of build on that. And that's where you see sequels and other game concepts get created around the fact that literally you just watched lightning strike on something that you never thought in a million years. It's kind of like with a YouTube channel. You have you have videos that kind of hit average, other videos hit wrong, but you have that one video that just like was like lightning in a bottle for your channel and got you some amazing growth.
And the best example of that, there is an example of that under Microsoft right now. The best example of that is Sea of Thieves, period.
Yes.
Yep.
Sea of Thieves is the best example of a game that, you know, they probably didn't know if it was going to do hyper well. They probably expected it to do, you know, to do okay. But that game is lightning in a bottle. They caught lightning in a bottle with that game. Now it did take time. You know, it wasn't what it is now when it came out. You know, and that's what I mean. And Centurion's exactly right where he says that like the experimental stuff is also secondarily well, this experimental thing could actually catch on like a wildfire. And I shouldn't have said wildfire because people are actually suffering wildfires right now. But like, if you're in the areas that are hit, I hope I didn't upset anyone. But like you know, like you could have these games just become explosive takes overnight. I mean, Fortnite exploded what felt like overnight once they added that battle royale mode. You know what I mean? Came out of nowhere, and I don't think Epic was expecting it to do that.
Nope.
No,
Well, I
Dan
remember-
Ferguson said he was going to shut it down.
Yeah.
He was like, "You guys should all be thanking me because if I was still there, when
Yeah.
I saw it, I was going to cancel it."
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. I mean, I'll be honest, I didn't think very much of Fortnite when it got announced. I was like, oh, well.
Does anybody remember what Fortnite was?
Was,
How about that? How about that for a damn question? Does anybody remember what Fortnite was originally supposed to be before Battle Royale?
It was like a base building game, wasn't it?
Zombies and stuff?
Zombies
Base
survival,
building
base
PvE.
Yeah.
It was like almost like almost horde fighting.
My friend found a physical copy of Fortnite at a used game store the other day and bought it. He was like, "I have to own this."
Oh, dude, I actually own the Fortnite Save the World game.
Yeah.
I actually own Fortnite. Like I actually bought the Save the World campaign. I played it. I enjoyed it. And yeah, I mean, like it's just insane to think about that. Like one little simple game mode. Now, it's kind of like sketchy on how they got that game mode idea because I guess the story is Bluehole Studios needed help getting PUBG across the finish line for console, and so Epic Games sent some developers some support to Bluehole Studios to help kind of show them how to get PUBG working on console. And then obviously those developers came back and told Epic Games about this really crazy concept called Battle Royale. And then before PUBG could launch on console, they had already implemented Battle Royale into Fortnite, and the rest is history.
Well, and I mean, here's the thing. I know Bluehole tried to sue over it, but like it wasn't like PUBG was the first Battle Royale. The first Battle Royale, hilariously, was Minecraft Hunger Games.
Well, I also
hilariously was the first Battle Royale. It was Minecraft Hunger
Xbox
Games
leads the
servers.
charge. Huh.
It wasn't even Xbox. It was mods on PC. You couldn't do it on the console version. You could only do it in the Java version.
And PUBG actually started off its life as a mod.
Yeah. And so like, and the whole concept of a battle royale, you know, it's not even like they can claim that because it's based on a book. The whole concept of like the battle royale, it doesn't even originate from the Hunger Games. It comes from I can't remember the name of the book. It's like a book from the. Let me look it up. I'm pretty sure battle royale is in the name of it. Like, and so it's just like, you know, it's amazing that it took that long. Yeah, it's a battle royale is a. Hold on, let me try and find it. It's from it's just not an original concept to gaming, even. That's my point in saying that. It's just like, so I hope we see more crazy innovation like that from Microsoft, making new modes and things like that.
Well, I think that's where Halo Tatanka comes in.
Oh, please! I hope it comes.
Yeah,
I think it would be really good.
I hope so. We'll see on that front.
Yeah.
Time will tell. Time will tell. Obviously, they're holding back on that. Guys, I know we're 2 hours into this now. Any closing thoughts on the Xbox game showcase? Anything else you guys want to say before we move over to outros?
Future looks good.
Yep. I think the Xbox, they got the big step towards gaining the confidence back.
Yep.
I agree. I mean, to be honest, my confidence has been with them for the past couple of years now, just because I have seen a lot of good on their front. It's just been the gameplay front and the dates, and I'm happy to see there are some dates, some windows. I'm happy to see the variety being there. I mean, again, we got a whole bunch of RPGs and whatnot and smaller titles today. There's a few caveats with a couple of games that I wish that they would show more combat gameplay and some other things for, especially like Fable or Compulsion. I was kind of expecting a little bit more, but because of the timeline. But otherwise, again, I was really thrilled with a bunch of games, especially Avowed, and again my hit was Clockwork Revolution. Like that, I'm just blown away by it. I'm really excited to see that.
And I think next year, I think because the ones we didn't see this year are almost guaranteed to be next year. Like I can now see State of Decay 3 and Contraband automatically making next year.
Well, and we might have more of those developer directs. We might see some of that stuff sooner.
Yes.
Right.
Hopefully, yes, obviously.
And so we might not even have to wait till next year for some of the things we didn't see. Yeah. Or to see some of the stuff that we saw today again. You know what I mean? Like we might see Avowed or Hellblade before. Heck, one of them might launch before the next showcase. We don't know. They just said 2024. You know what I mean? We don't know. They didn't make any hard commitments.
That's correct. Yes. I mean, it would make sense to space them out, but at the same time, and Matt Booty's comments earlier today as well, stating that he wants 4 big games a year as of right now, releasing.
So, guys, what do you think then? Which quarter next year would be Hellblade and Avowed? I'm curious what you guys would think.
Hellblade's not coming out before March. And that's not me saying it'll come out like in April, May, or June. It's not going to come out before March. They are going to put at least 6 months in between Starfield and another large RPG.
Yeah,
I think that's a minimum you can guarantee yourself.
I think Avowed might be the next holiday game, and Hellblade might be the summer.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see the switch too if Hellblade's going to be super, super, super cinematic, and have it come out as close to the Game Awards, but still be qualify for them, so that it's in that recency bias kind of space.
Well, either way, again, we got a lot to think about. There's a lot of good stuff and a lot of games. Again, there's some games that again weren't even shown today that we know are coming, but we don't have time frames on. But either way, guys, I mean, I know some of you gave grades. If I had to give a grade for it, I would say maybe somewhere between a 7.5 to 8. I know I'm a little harsher than some. I did really enjoy, guys. That's I'm just a bit of a harsher critic, I guess, when it comes to some things, but because nothing's perfect in my eyes, nothing. But it was a solid 8 for me. I did really enjoy just a few little things here and there. But okay, guys, I think we'll begin to slowly wrap things up for this one. And wow, I mean, what a night talking and discussing about the Xbox game show and even the Starfield Direct. We touched a bit on that, and I thought we did a pretty good job summarizing things. We touched on a whole boatload of stuff, and yeah, it was really great hanging out with all of you with the TXR crew, and just happy to have all the listeners here and everyone in the chat. And guys, if you enjoyed the chat tonight, then please consider dropping a like, sharing this episode out, and of course subbing to the channel if you're new here. I love all the new faces. Now, a huge congrats. I don't know if you guys saw, but we're doing the giveaway in the chat, and somebody won the Xbox Series S giveaway. We had quite a few participants there, but one guy was really quick to the draw, and that would be Guardian Beardizer. So say that one 3 times fast. Guardian Beardizer, congrats for winning our Xbox Series X giveaway. Remember to be in contact with us as soon as possible. Actually, I did see something pop up on my phone, so I think you did send us an email, but we will be in touch. I promise that we'll be in touch very soon. But congrats to you guys, and thank you all for participating. Thank you all for you guys rock. Next, we will go on to the TXR outros, starting with Crusader. Pal, I know you had a busy week. Where can everybody follow you?
Yeah, you can follow me at Crusader3456 on Twitter, and on Xbox and on PlayStation. I think that's also my username on Nintendo, but I don't remember how Nintendo's friend system works. It's not normal. But yeah, you find me on all those things, and happy to talk about games with everyone. My actual name, I did change my name slightly on Twitter recently. I am now Crusader 2 LSR. As a Lord of the Rings reference that probably no one will get, but that's fine. But yeah, the @ is still Crusader3456. So yeah, just find me with that.
All right, very cool, very cool. Hit him up, everyone. Hit him up. Moving on, Eric Shockley, buddy. Hey, I really liked your thoughts on tonight. I know you really enjoyed the show. Where can everybody follow you at, pal?
Yeah, as always, you can find me at ShockNero on Twitter, EZShock on Xbox Live. But yeah, good show tonight. Had a lot to cover, so it was exciting. So hopefully, maybe we'll get a few more tidbits this week for next week's show. But having a good night.
Yes, there will be stuff shown throughout the next couple of days. So yeah, we'll have to continue on this conversation for sure. Hopefully, we get some extended stuff. For a few games. I believe there's already some stuff listed, like Forza and whatnot. So we'll take a look. We'll take a look. Moving on down, GeneralMLD. Hey, really good stuff tonight. I know, hey, you were excited. I was excited. Everyone was, for sure. Where can everybody find you at?
Yeah, you guys can find me at MLD Ghost on Twitter, Gamertag GhostMLD. You can catch me gaming there. And yeah, this was a very fun time. Just taking it all in, everyone just in a good mood, good vibes. Xbox is, they got the momentum, and let's hope they keep it up for going forward.
Got that right. Moving on, Mr. Centurion. Hey, I thought you had a really good show as well. Some really, really awesome thoughts there. Where can everybody find you?
It was a great show tonight, gentlemen. For those interested in finding me, you could locate me at Centurion1307, Xbox Live, Twitter, and of course right here on YouTube. You could also find me on Gaming Beyond the Box with Mr. Wilmy Hood and the rest of the crew over there 2 hours before the start of this show. And obviously you could find me here on TXR every Sunday night with this amazing group of gentlemen.
He said amazing. All right. Thank you. Thank you. All right. And as for me, Invader, you guys can find my content on YouTube at Invader Gaming. I've been putting up some gameplay and guides for Warhammer 40k Bolt Gun. Slowly but surely, I'll be spinning more out. But I've been having a lot of fun with that game, so you'll see more Bolt Gun content on my channel. And if you're interested, hey, be sure to check it out, guys. I've been putting it out there slowly but surely. All right. I couldn't be happier with tonight's show, and we're all looking forward to the next one. So we'll all catch you later. Have a good one, folks.